I always remember that we used to get up 4 o'clock in the morning. As soon as you get up from the bed, you gotta run to find you a seat. So you gotta get up, yeah, you gotta run.
Okay, what do you think? It's cold. Traditionally, I am a painter. Yeah, that is my hand. That blue, yeah, I like that. But as I kind of evolved, my visual voice needed to kind of go where it led me. I came into the migrant farm worker community as a co-director on the film At a Stranger's Table. The community was experiencing a lot of bullying, so AMEXCAN, they were holding a community organized event to talk about kinds of challenges that were being faced.
The Association of Mexicans in North Carolina mission is to promote the active participation of the Mexican and Latino community through the areas of leadership, education, culture, advocacy, and binational programs.
My husband attended that event and said, "How can I help? What can I do?"
It was during a discussion with our executive director, Juvencio Rocha Peralta, discussing the need to help them tell their own stories.
My husband started this journey on how can I access this invisible population. About a year later, I came into the picture. This grew into a family affair. Following them over the course of really 3 years, I started to become much more knowledgeable about what this workforce means and what they have to offer. At the heart of that experience, I kept noticing the bus in how they arrive to their job site, both in how they arrive to this country, their means for getting, when they can, into the community to shop. But it also became like this invisible veil for how isolated and removed they are. People didn't know when they see a bus go down the road and the public school sign has been painted over, that's potentially carrying migrant farm workers. Do you think that's okay that we don't know about this community? They're in our backyard. I kept coming back to this bus. How can you tell the story of these migrant farm workers in Eastern North Carolina without the bus at the center and as a foundation of what this workforce does? It just was like a light bulb went off. When Z. Smith Reynolds grant came across my path, and so let's go for it, let's just put it out there.
It was something that was brought to AMEXCAN by Scott and Sally, and we decided to apply. Part of the decision process for us is that we were going to be working with a foundation that we trust. We had to partner with someone that had the dedication and enthusiasm.
It's an art project, and
but it's not being used to transport kids or be a part of any school.
Are they both the same height, and the both the seat?
We're going to remove the seats.
The seats are in good shape.
When Z. Smith Reynolds chose us as one of the 10 recipients for this grant,
Art section and the community section.
I just cried.
It's cool. I'm seeing it.
The bus is now the vehicle for this voice. It's amazing how these things are repurposed. The intent of that bus is no longer a school bus, and each way configured in the very need that serves that harvest.
Jose, he said, we're gonna go work on the bus, but I never see this coming,
It's about the familia, todos, like a little library. This project is a public, inclusive work of art. So a lot of the things that came out visually for how this was going to look came from community engagement. How can people taste it? How can they touch it? We just started playing around with, if we could put patterns that maybe are inspired by indigenous cultures.
When now I see a bus with people, I was like, I used to drive one of those, and I know how I feel. Out there in the field, there were a lot of people from everywhere, so they're gonna be represented, and I'm more excited to be contributor.
So where would you see the community board going? And then this is kind
On
of
the outside.
Okay, that's cool, and there's no wrong answer.
Conversation started. It got people from all different cross sections and all different communities to start talking about farming and labor, race. Knowing that this is so layered and so complicated to tell, having video as a component was going to be inevitable. Maybe this could be an opportunity for not only people visiting the bus to hear their stories, but for them to also leave their story. To have a library resource section, to have this community engagement piece, to have an art-making concept studio for freedom of expression. So whatever decisions we make has to come back to, is this going to contribute to their voice?
It's hard because you left everything to come over here. You be alone.
A migrant farmer is those that come to harvest our food.
They received an H-2A visa, which is a temporary working visa. Most of the time, they're here for about 6 months, and then they return home until the next season begins.
Hard for every Mexican that work on the field, especially in the heat in the summertime. What they would do here is try to make a living. Then they had no opportunity in Mexico. This is one of the reasons that we come to the United States to work on the farms.
Well, my mom said, now, I'm stopping you right here. This bus thing's gone far enough. You can't get a bus driver's license. You can't drive a bus, you're not big enough. And I'm like, what did you just say to me?
I've had people that say, this is kind of a cool idea. This is interesting. Is this bus gonna really travel? What we hope, it's gonna roll in and out of the camps. It's gonna roll to schools and churches and nonprofits.
And I'm getting good at my brakes. Look, that. Nice.
I want people to know that, no, it's not a project, it's not a museum, it's not an event, it is a work of art. You know, the very definition of what a work of art is, its intent has changed. To open up our eyes, to allow people to see things in a whole new way. Knowing that we needed to put a face to this project, we were going to use portraits.
Maybe pull it down a little bit.
But also scenes of what the fields look like and what they're doing in those fields.
He's 80 pounds maybe. Wow. Buckets are 40, so you'd see him in the field with the others, you know, putting potatoes in his bucket for him. And
His name's Enrique.
It humanizes it.
I got my grandfather, he was taking me to the field. He's the one teach me how to work. I learned how to work hard. Yeah, thanks on him. I haven't seen him since I left from Mexico.
Is it hard to be separated?
Oh yeah, it's been almost 24 years.
Our Lady of Guadalupe kept coming up as a cultural symbol. Gosh, you know, maybe this should be something we should include. How are we going to do that? The community chose to have her as not only a symbol of strength and fortitude, but that she be focused on the front hood, that she lead the way. One woman, she at one of the events, she's like, you don't have any photos of any women. You know, where are the women? A lot of them are left behind.
This is Paula. Yep. Paula started out in the fields 15 years ago and is now providing the meals, taking them out to the fields for the workers for lunch and for dinner. 40 to 60 men she cooks for twice a day by herself. And then she has 3 kids and they come after school to help her mom. Every day they're in different fields, so she has to, you know, coordinate where are they today. Flips up the back lid, her truck really becomes a restaurant. She's one of the most vulnerable. When the workers don't get paid, she doesn't get paid.
¿Qué está bueno el tabaco para hacer la cosecha de las hojas?
Sometimes you think about go back to Mexico, but like me right now, I got 2 kids. I gotta look out for them.
Those are the intangible things, the abstract things that people really don't even consider. There's a lot of sacrifices that come for us to have food on our table.
Get up higher.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all want to join in? We're going to kind of join in the center here. So this project looks like a school bus right now, but I actually like to think of it as a living sculpture. It is going to evolve over time. Sorry, raise your hand.
It is the first official on-the-road opportunity with all the parts in place.
I'll get you started. You can continue.
So I'm going to show you how to do that.
So today's event is bringing together 2 elementary schools to talk about and have part in this larger conversation around who harvests our food, how it's harvested.
Mateo, potato.
We wanted them to have a voice in the evolution of what this bus is going to look like. It's about the process and that they felt included and they were a part of it and they had fun and they made connections and they made friends and thinking about the bigger voice that this bus carries. This is our generation that need to have an opportunity to come together. There's so much power in that.
They can judge us for being dirty. We're dirty because we're close to God, because we're putting food on the table of hundreds of thousands of people.
What do you tell them for coming?
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, if you are an elefante, go with Miss Brown. If you are a leon, go with Miss Ordonez.
End of that morning, we had this boy, come up.
Gracias.
He has been waiting to tell this to somebody. He just started in with his story about his papa, mi papa.
Mi papá me llevaba a ver los trabajos que hacían.
He was brought to the fields in 2012, and that was the year he was born, and he's proud of his dad, and his dad is very intelligent because he works hard. I could see the pride, I could see the sparkle in his eye.
Mi papá es muy inteligente porque mi papá trabaja más duro.
To have him be validated by his peers, by his own generation. And not live in isolation, not live in fear, and not live marginalized and from a place of embarrassment. I just had to pull in. I just had to pull in, and people came together. It was a memory that plants a seed that then can be fertilized. And the bus is going to keep fertilizing, right? And that's the power of this project. Thank God for Z. Smith Reynolds that took the risk in us. As a middle-aged woman, artist, it gave me hope that my idea is valid. Yeah, this is important, this matters.
Just up here on the right.
His home is going to reside at Alice Keene Park in Greenville, North Carolina. Thanks to Alice Keene for going to the chamber and reaching out to her stakeholders and saying that this is important and that we need to include this voice in this community. It is going to be right across the street from the Farmers Museum, the Farmers Market. Now we have an inclusive narrative. Children will come across that street and they will get on the bus and learn about not only how food is harvested, but who harvests our food.
I'm so excited for the people out there working hard. I want to imagine some people, they can see their face on this bus through pictures, videos. They're going to be so proud of themselves because this bus for them.
It's still a choice, but if you get on the bus, you're in the conversation. And there's been a lot of people on the bus.
Visibly Speaking is a production of PBS North Carolina in association with the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation.